Hey, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Una Duncan, and dude, I am so excited for you to meet this guest. I first met Kusudi when he came up to me and he asked me if I would like to save a kid from getting shot in the head. And then he showed me a picture of himself in a hospital bed with a bandage around his head, giving thumbs up to the camera. His story of escaping a violent life on the streets was so compelling that I decided right there to partner with him, and together we raised about $30,000 for at-risk youth in 48 hours, with Kusudi totally leading the charge with all the charisma and the wisdom that you are about to experience. And by the way, when we did this, Kusudi was about half my age at 19 years old. In this episode, you are going to hear how he went from being that kid in the hospital to now mentoring millionaire executives about how to find their purpose in life. Even better, you are going to get a taste of that magic. Kusudi is going to tell you the 3 simple questions that you can ask yourself right now to discover your purpose. And then he's going to tell you how to make your purpose profitable. You're also going to get to listen in on us talk about the dead giveaway that we can hear in 2 seconds that tells us whether our clients are going to hit their goals or not. And you'll learn about your personal blueprint for success and failure. And listen, make sure you stay until the end because his final thoughts for you are something that you might want to listen to over and over again. You are going to love this.
It's time to get your head out of your ass and start creating a life of no regrets. Whether you want to lose weight, get rich, or manifest a hot threesome on the beach, you're gonna want to turn this up. This is Goals, Grit, and some woo-woo shit with your host, best-selling author and professional butt kicker, Una Duncan.
Here we are with Kusudi Muithi. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Una, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to bless your platform and to just be of service. I'm so excited.
Oh, cool. Well, listen, I would love it if you would tell our listeners your story. I know a little bit of it because when we worked together, do you remember we would go up to strangers and we would open with telling them your story, which is an incredible story. So would you do us that favor and start there?
So what I do right now is I coach high-level entrepreneurs. I speak on stages around the world, and I help people discover their purpose and create the version of themselves that align best with that. And it's because when I discovered my purpose that my life changed from, early in my life, I got involved in the streets from going to juvenile. Went to juvenile when I was about 15, 16-year-old for a bulletproof vest and a pistol. When I was 18 years old, that's when the life-transforming event happened. I was at a house party, confrontation broke out, and long story short, I ended up getting shot. So I survived a gunshot to the head. A bullet went in on one side, right underneath my earlobe, and came out on the other. And, they say wisdom is not in experiences. Wisdom is in the reflection of the experience. So at that time, I never took time to kind of reflect. I just took it as, that's just part of the game. That's just how it goes. Selling drugs and hustling and everything in the streets. So I never got wisdom from that until later on down my life. And it wasn't until I was sitting in jail. Now I'm 21 years old. Between 19 and 21, I was in and out of jail. I'm sitting in jail, 21 years old, have open cases in 4 different counties in Indiana, facing up to 10 years in prison, lost over 6 figures for selling drugs and everything. That's when I kind of to start reflecting on my life. And it's in that reflection that I was like, there has to be more than life than this. Like, is this what my life is? It's a lot of people probably out there right now. I tell people, during COVID, you probably got a taste of what it's like to be in jail in COVID, right? You're in the confines of your 4 walls. And a lot of people have to be with themselves. A lot of people don't spend time to just be with themselves. But it's in the being with yourself that you start asking yourself the tough questions in life. Where is it that I want my life to go? What are my dreams? What are my aspirations? What are the things that I've always wanted to do that I haven't done? What is my purpose? What am I here for? What am I created for? And it's in those questions that I really start kind of coming up with answers. And ended up getting out of jail, spent about a year in jail, started diving into personal development, discovered my purpose, and set on a mission to help others do the same. And that's been the last 5 years. So I know that's a quick,
oh my God,
taking things a lot to bring me to where I'm at right now in my life.
So I want to ask, I saw that you had this sort of epiphany when you were in jail. So was that guided by any programs in jail, or did you come to this on your own?
No programs at all. The jail is not for rehabilitation. It's a revolving cycle. It's not a rehabilitating. So when I was in jail, it wasn't programs. It's when I was in jail that I had time to be with myself. So I started journaling. And that was my first time ever journaling. That was my first time ever really reading. You know, I tell people all the time that you have to spend time and inspect who you think you know you are and what you think you know about yourself. So up until that point, I would say, well, I'm not a reader. Well, why am I not a reader? Because I didn't like the history book in fourth grade. I never took time to read books that I like. So now that I'm in jail, my mom is sending me personal development books. I'm like, wow, I've never read this stuff before. Like, this is good. So I had to really take time to ask myself, who am I? Like, who am I really? You know, not who am I with the facade? Who am I with the mask? Who am I of who I had to be to get respect? Who I had to be to get love, who I had to be to get acceptance, who I had to be to feel safe. A lot of people are still being that kid that they had to be to get love, that they had to be to get acceptance, that they had to be to feel safe. And you're still being that kid throughout your life. And I was being that just in a different aspect. I'm just covering up in the streets now. So through journaling, I really started to learn about myself and really started to deal with my thoughts and unpack my thoughts. And through reading books and journaling, that was just kind of like the perfect combination. It was like books, journals, and time, right? I didn't have nothing else to do but books, journal, time, and work out. So it gave me enough space to really start asking myself the tough questions. It gave me books to start reading and start coming up with new ideas and new concepts and new theories that I'd never heard before. And it was just the perfect mix for me to really start discovering myself.
And when you got out, according to your social, you said everyone expected you to end up back on the streets, selling drugs, whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
And you didn't. Tell us about that transition. And given that you were doing those things before, because they felt like what you needed to do for survival. And how were you able to switch the idea of what it would actually mean to survive and how you could do that without those things?
I had to ask myself, just personally, because I was making a lot of money in the streets, right? But every time I made money, I'd get locked up, I'd lose it. So losing tens of thousands of dollars, six figures. So I have to say, okay, obviously I'm good at making money. Obviously I'm good at hustling. Obviously I'm good at building. What would life look like if I don't have to worry about losing it? Like, what would life look like if I don't have to worry about a police arresting me? If I don't have to worry about somebody trying to kill me or rob me for it? Like, what would life look like then? And, you know, I would tell people that even anybody listening is that everybody has a different amount of tolerance for pain. Everybody's tolerance for pain is different, right? I had a homie who almost got arrested as a kid for selling drugs, and that just scared the shit out of him. He was like, never again. I don't ever want anything else to do. But then here I am getting arrested, shot, going to jail, just all type of things, right? So everybody has a tolerance of pain. I just hope that everybody reaches that point before it's too late. Like, don't wait until you're on your deathbed to be like, oh my God, if only I would have followed my dreams. If only I would have stopped being fearful. If only I would have, you know, would have, could have, should have. Like, don't wait until you don't have time to make it right. So I'm just blessed that by the time that I reached my pain threshold and I got out of jail, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, there's nothing that I will ever do to sacrifice my freedom. So because of who I was in the streets, a lot of people thought that I would go right back. I was making a lot of money. I was a major player. But for me, you know, you have to really be present with the blessings that you receive, regardless of what you believe in, is God, source, the universe, whatever that is for yourself, right? For myself, is God. And I had to really be present with, you know, the blessings that God has given me. You know, each and every person listening to this, you have literally made it through something that has destroyed somebody else. So you can say, oh my God, Kusudi, you're amazing, right? You've been shot, you made it through this, but like, so are you. Like, you made it through depression. You've made it through verbal abuse, physical abuse. You made it through, you know, losing somebody significant to you. So each and every one of us, we've made it through something that has destroyed somebody else in this world. So if you're still here, you have to start asking yourself, why? Why did God help you keep yourself through this and not the other person? You know, why is it that you're still in your right mind? Why is it still that you're well able to progress and to make and do the things that you want to do in life? And that was the biggest realization for me, is like, I have to be here for a reason. I'm over 10 people that have been killed through gun violence in the streets. And if I'm still here, it has to be for a major reason. And getting out, now that I got present to that fact that I'm here and I'm here for a reason, when I got out, it wasn't even difficult to go back. That was a no-brainer. That was a non-negotiable. There was not a single fiber in my body that was like, I'm about to go back to the streets when I get out. I'm like, no, finally, that now that I realize this, is different from when you don't realize. But now when you're present to it and you're present that you're here for a reason, it's hard to go back and act as if you're not.
Hey, dude, if you are enjoying this episode and you have a friend that you think might also benefit from this information, please share it with them. That helps my podcast so much, and it's going to help your friend. Share the love. Thanks so much. Wow. I'm so impressed by that because you must have lost all your friends.
Oh, man. Like, everybody was like, oh, he's corny. What did you become Muslim? What is all this positive talk? I tell people this, it's a 3-step. These are like this is the 3 steps to when you change it, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're doing something new that everybody doesn't agree with, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to doubt you.
Yeah.
Right. First, everybody's going to doubt you. Everybody's going to say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, there's no way you could do that, right? You can't do that business. You can't go after that goal. That's not going to work. Too many people are doing it. You won't be, people are going to doubt you. Mm-hmm. Right. And then number 2 is going to happen. Number 2 is they're going to laugh at you when you start doing it. Mm-hmm. They're going to laugh at you. Yeah. Oh, look at him with that little business. Oh, look at her trying to make videos on Insta. Look at her. Ain't nobody going to listen to her. Right.
Yeah.
But I promise you this, if you're able to stick through number 1 and 2, then you'll get to number 3. And then that's when everybody tells you how they always believed in you. That's when they tell you they always believe. Oh my God, Una, she was just always been different. Like I just knew that she was different from I just knew that she was going to do something.
Right.
But most people stop after number 1, let alone number 2.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, yeah, I lost a lot of people because a lot of people were still in that environment and they were doubtful. Nobody from where I come from is a speaker or helping people or anything like that, right? But now that I'm where I'm at, oh my God, bro, I always believed in you. Now when I come back to my city, you're the most inspirational person in the world.
Right.
Like, oh, bro, I need to talk to you, man. I'm ready to change my life. Like, so you just gotta be willing to go through 1 and 2 and make it a number 3.
Totally agree with you on that. Kusudi, you said basically you came out of jail and there was not a fiber in you that wanted to go back to your old way of being because now you were super clear on your purpose. Did I get that right?
100%.
So you talk a lot about helping people find their purpose.
Yeah.
Can you, how would one go about that? If you're like, okay, well, I don't have the time to sit around and journal and read self-development books all day. I got to just do my job. I got to put food on the table. I got to take care of my kids. A lot of people I think feel really lost in that and not really sure what their purpose is. How do you help people with that?
Yeah. First of all, stop trying to find your purpose. You're never going to find it. That's the first thing. You're never going to find your purpose, right? The reason you can't find it is because anything that you're finding, you're presupposing that it's lost. Mm. You can't find anything that's not lost. Your purpose is not lost. You can't lose the very thing of your way of being, the very thing you were created for. And finding is outwardly looking. That's where people go from relationship to relationship, job to job, city to city, trying to find their purpose, trying to find themselves. Your purpose is not lost. It's not outside of you. It's within you. Mm-hmm. So it's not about finding your purpose. It's about discovering your purpose. It's about going within, going to do a deep dive within. See, discovering is like digging within and pulling out what's already within you. So that's all I do with people. I'm not a guru. I'm not God. I can't tell you what your purpose is. I can just help you pull your purpose out of you. It's already within you. Mm. And here's 3 simple questions that if you answer these 3 questions, by the end of this, you'll discover what your purpose is. And I've did this with all around the world, different languages, different economics, from the person who's lost just getting out of jail to the billionaire to famous. It doesn't matter. If you answer these 3 questions, you will discover your purpose in a matter of the next 10 minutes, right? So question number one, I did it with everybody around the world, right? So question number 1, If every job in this world paid the exact same amount of money and you had to clock in and do something, what is it that you would want to do? Right? You had to clock in and do something, though. Right? So you can't just say, oh, I'll travel. Oh, right. I'll just. No, you have to clock in. Just go with the process. Even if there's something else you want to, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'll never clock in, right? No, just choose a job if you have to clock in. Just stick with me. Like, so a lot of people say things that they think they will want to do that they've never, oh, I'll have businesses. I promise, if the business paid the exact same amount of money as helping kids, I want to be in the business. Like, I'll probably just be helping kids. I'll give up all the employees and everything if this paid the exact same amount of money, right? So you have to clock in and do something, right? Because you're going to only pick something that will be dear to your heart. Now you're leveling the playing field. See, if I said, if you could do anything in this job, what is it that you would want to do? Most people go for what pays the most. Yeah. Well, if it didn't pay the most, then what would you do then? If it paid the same, right? You would choose what you would love to do. Question number 2 is, what inspires you about that? So, for example, a kid out of school, if every job paid the same, what is it that you want to do? I want to be a veterinarian. What inspires you about that? Oh, because when I was a kid, I had a dog, and my dog was my best friend in this world. And one day my dog ran outside and got hit by a car. And I thought that my dog was going to die. I thought my best friend was going to die. And we took it to the veterinarian, and the veterinarian saved my dog. So I want to help save other people's animals and their best friend the same way the veterinarian did mine. Right? What inspires you about that? When you answer this question, this is the question where it's about you. What inspires me by helping people discover their purpose? Because when I discover mine, my life changed. Inspires me to help others do the same. So this inspiration is always going to be tied to something that was significant for you in your own personal life. That's when it comes down to me, right? Yeah. The inspiration is for me. Now, the third question is, what difference would you want to make by doing that job? That's where it becomes about others. So back to the example about the kid, right? Typically, when you answer number 2, your purpose is going to come out in number 2, but you may not hear it. You may not listen. Right. So then that's when you ask yourself question number 3. What difference would you want to make by doing that? I would want to save other people animals the same way that the veterinarian said. So what's your purpose? My purpose is to save other people animals. So the question number 3 is, what difference you want to make? That's when it's about others. Well, what difference would you want to make by helping people discover their purpose? Well, I want to help people discover their purpose so they can live a life of financial freedom and personal fulfillment. All right. That's my purpose. It's the difference I want to make in others. I want to help others discover that for themselves. So if you answer those 3 questions, if every job in this world paid the exact same amount of money and you had to clock in, what is it that you would do? What inspires you about that? And what is the difference? The difference is the purpose. But I want you to be careful with this. A lot of times people think that their purpose has to be this magical statement in the clouds and in the universe, that the purpose of my life is to be an extraordinary human being, to bless all who lay eyes upon me and bring smile and joy to people's face. Like, it does not have to be this crazy
How did you know that was my purpose?
That sounds just like you, Una. I feel like I was describing you for a second. I was like channeling spirit for you, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Right? But your purpose may literally bring smiles to people's faces. It may be to save the earth. It may be to save animals. It may be to help the homeless people get on their feet. Whatever that is for yourself, there's no purpose too small or too big. And there's no purpose that's bigger than any other. So if your purpose is to bring smiles and joy to every person you come in contact with, that's just as big as the person whose purpose is to inspire 1 billion people.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. So what if they're like, oh, yeah, but that doesn't really pay much, or I can't do that? What do you say to those kind of beliefs?
Those are all limiting beliefs. And that's what I coach my clients doing. A lot of my clients are people who have come to me. Most of my clients are already successful, so they already have money. And they're either in 2 phases, right? They either have the success and not the fulfillment, or they know what their purpose is, but doesn't know how to make the money from it.
Can you define success versus fulfillment for a second?
So first, I think the success is fulfillment. So let me correct that. The best definition of success that I've been able to come up with, and I heard it from Earl Nightingale, is success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Okay. And if you have a worthy ideal, a worthy thought, a worthy goal, and you're consistently working towards that, then that is success.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, I define fulfillment as success. Now, when I say success prior, I was talking about it as how most people define it, which is the material things, right?
Right.
Most
the cars, the
at,
house.
Yeah, financial success. They look at financial success as success. So the easiest way to sit there and so I'm giving y'all some real game right now. This is what I teach in my whole 12-week life creation program, my Creators of Reality Academy. This is what I teach in my whole academy, right? Lesson 2 is all about how to really monetize and mix profits with purpose.
That's juicy.
Profit with purpose, right? Doesn't that sound good? Profit with purpose, right? So the easiest way to figure out how is it that you can monetize your purpose is to do this. Write your purpose, put it in the middle of a piece of paper and draw a circle around it, right?
Okay.
Write your purpose statement, put it in the middle, draw a circle around it, and then put some lines breaking off from that circle, right? And on every line, write a vehicle that could fulfill on that purpose. So for an example, this is the best analogy for somebody to understand this, is that there's a difference between purpose and passion.
Okay.
Purpose is the fuel. Passion is the vehicle.
Okay.
So I can have a Ford, I can have a Toyota, I can have a Nissan, 3 different vehicles, but they all 3 take unleaded gas. Your purpose is the fuel. Your passion is the vehicle. So my purpose is to inspire a billion people to discover and live in their purpose, right? But my passion is coaching. My passion is speaking on stage. My passion could be a podcast. It could be a book. There's multiple different vehicles that fulfills on that same purpose. And this is how you talk about multiple streams of income. Multiple streams does not always mean multiple businesses. You have multiple streams within you right now. So if I love helping people, I can do it through a book. I can do it through a podcast. I can do it through speaking. I can do it through coaching. I can do it through group coaching.
Right.
I can be a therapist. I can be a pastor. Like there's so many different things that I can be doing to fulfill on the same purpose. So to think that you have a purpose that you can't monetize, no, you just are not looking and getting a vast view of all the streams that which you could build from that same purpose. All the vehicles you could use to fulfill on that purpose.
Okay, got it. Because, I was wondering when you said that you mostly work with people who are already successful, I was kind of like, oh, I would have assumed that your purpose was to help other at-risk kids like you were. But I guess what you're saying is, no, that can be my purpose is to help people. And this is just one of the different ways I can do it. And it happens to be the one that's most lucrative.
That's just one of the vehicles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I have my foundation. Like, we take in about 100 underprivileged minority kids with Tony Robbins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I remember that. Hey, if you're liking this podcast, you might also like my book, Healthy as Fuck. It's an international bestseller and available wherever books are sold. The audiobook is especially awesome, if I do say so myself. And if you go to fitfeelsgood.com/healthyaf, I've got a ton of free bonuses for book readers. So make sure you go and grab those. Okay, back to the episode.
My first Tony Robbins event, I was at home. I got out of jail. I got sentenced to 3 years on house arrest. So I had an ankle bracelet around my ankle, a monitor, a GPS tracker around my ankle, and I wasn't able to leave the house. And I'm just wanting better for my life. And I started listening to YouTube, came past Tony Robbins just in a random YouTube compilation.
Compilation,
yeah. But I came past Tony, and then I was like, this guy's good. Like, who is this? And I read the description. It was like Tony Robbins, like minute number 2 speaking, right? I'm like, okay, who is Tony Robbins? And I started researching him, and then I saw his Netflix special. So I watched the Netflix special, I'm Not Your Guru.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't know what better was, but I knew better was in that room. It's a lot of people out there that want better, and you come past something. You're like, just something about this person. Something about working with Una just seems right. Something about working with Kusudi just seems right.
Yeah.
And you really don't know what it is. You don't know even know how to get to better, but better feels like with this person.
Totally.
Right?
I call it playing warmer, colder. Like, it's just like, oh, I don't know what this is warmer. And then you just keep following that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. If you just keep following warmer, right? And eventually you'll get hot.
Yeah.
So I kept following warmer, and that led me to the Netflix special. And I was like, better is in that room. I don't know better, but it's in that room. So, looked at it, I Googled it, and I was like, okay, great. It's in December. At this time, it's like March. So I was like, great. It hasn't passed yet. But then I looked at the price of it, and it was $5,000 for the cheapest pre-sale early bird ticket.
Yep.
And at that time, I had like $50 in my account. And I was working a job, making bagels for Walmart, making $11.25 an hour. And I was like, whoa, I haven't had $5,000 since I've been in the streets. I got to make $5,000 working a job. But I was like, I tell people, you don't get your goals, you get your commitments.
Ooh.
You don't get your goals, you get your commitments. Goals come and go. You may hit them, you may not. You may hit them, you may not. Your commitments, you don't waver on those. If I asked every woman that was listening to this that has a child, is it a goal to put food on your child's table? Is it a goal to make sure your child doesn't starve to death? That's not a goal. You'll steal out of Walmart. If it came down to that, in order to feed your child, that's not a goal. That's a commitment. And I had a commitment to get to Tony Robbins' event. And that distinction of a commitment comes from my mentor, Steve Hardison. And it's really a powerful distinction. Because when I look at my life, I had a commitment to go to Tony. It wasn't a goal. It was a commitment. So with a commitment, you do whatever it takes. So I had 50 pair of Jordans. I sold 30, 40 pair of my Jordans. I started working 60, 70 hours a week, making bagels for Walmart, working about 20, 30 hours of overtime a week. And I bought the ticket for $5,000. Literally the last 5 minutes, it was still on sale, and literally drained my bank account back down to less than $20 after purchasing that ticket. That's what a commitment looks like. Yeah. And I wasn't even off a house arrest. I didn't even know if I'll be able to make it.
Right.
The event is, by the time I bought the ticket, the event is, I think, like 4 or 5 months away. But it's about 5 months, and I still had 22 months left on house arrest. So people are like, yo, what are you doing? Like, how are you going to get to Florida? And you can't even leave your mom's basement. I'm on house arrest in my mom's basement. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll just figure it out. Like, I just have a commitment. Spirit is telling me to go. Like, I'll figure it out. And through a process of contacting my lawyer and, reaching out to the courts, we petitioned the courts. We were able to talk on the phone, talk to people about all the progress I was doing, how good I've been doing since I've been out. And they let me off house arrest after half of my time. And the halfway mark, the 17 month, I got sentenced to 34 months. The 17-month mark was 2 weeks before Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny.
Wow.
And I was able to make it to the event. I literally slept in my car at that event, washed up in Burger King at that event. I literally just posted a video of me washing up. I recorded myself when I was in the bathroom. I was recording myself like, yo, I'm going to remember this one day. And when I tell this story, everybody always tells you the rags to riches stories. Oh, I was homeless. I did this. But you never really see it. And I'm not saying that they're lying, but it's different from when you can see it. And I recorded myself saying, this is what it looks like to do whatever it takes. And from that point forward, that event changed my life.
And you've spoken on that stage now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been on stage. I've taken kids. My mentors come from that environment. I've raised almost $1 million for one of my companies through that environment. That environment has been a pivotal for developing me, who I am now, my connections, and the things that I'm now doing in life.
So you've brought kids who are at-risk kids, like you were, and you've brought them to Tony events. This podcast is made possible by Fit Feels Good, my online fitness and nutrition company. Here's what we do.
I have so many incredible benefits from the MFA program. It literally changed my life. I have the book, Healthy AF. I'm absolutely in love with my life now. I find that the healthy habits that I built are amazing to go back to. The benefits that you're going to see as a woman in your 40s plus are things you could have never imagined. The key, which I know Una talks about over and over again, is loving your body now, not what you're envisioning it to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
To see the kids and the way that they transformed and to see what they're doing now in their life. I get graduation pictures, all type of things. It's so beautiful and it's so fulfilling.
I love it. You mentioned the difference between being committed and having a goal. And I love that. And I was creeping your Instagram and you were, saying I'm accepting new mastermind clients. And then you said that you were turning down people because they weren't committed enough. How can you tell if someone's really committed or if they're just like, can you be my guru and fix my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell they're really committed by the questions they ask.
Like what?
When somebody says, what if the coaching doesn't work? Is there a money back guarantee? You're not committed. Mm-hmm. You're not committed. You don't hope to get the value. You create the value. Anybody that works for me, don't hope to get the value out of me. Like, I know my value. I know what I'm going to bring. Don't hope to get it. Create the value. Trust me, there's so much that I'm going to say in the span of a 4-month coaching agreement, a year coaching agreement, a year mastermind program that just launched. Through me saying all of these different things, if you got nothing out of it, then you weren't.
That's on you.
Impossible. Yeah, that's on you at this point. Because I have a track record of clients who significantly changed their life. I have clients who sold businesses for 50 million, have clients that just started things and made their first. One of my clients, Leah, she's like one of my top students, love her so much. She was making $15 an hour teaching yoga in a prison. And she still does it because that's where her fulfillment is. But I'm like, yo, Leah, you have a gift here. And upon working with her in her first 3 weeks, she made $15K.
Nice.
Doing private clients in her first 3 weeks of coaching, from $15 to $15K, right? That's like a half of a year salary that you just made in 3 weeks of stepping into your gift. So there's countless testimonies. And if somebody gets on my website, they could go and read all the testimonies and everything. But create the value. Not just with me, but anything in your life. Anytime you're investing in any program, any curriculum, any class, any online course, be somebody that I'm going to set the intention that there's something in this program, there's something in this coaching, there's something in this course that would change the course of my life. I just have to have an open mind and an open heart to listen to it. And those are the type of people I want to work with. Those are the type. I want to work with the people that, yo, Kusudi, listen, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But when it's like, oh, is there a money back guarantee? Oh, how do I know this is really going to work? It's like your level of commitment is not there. Right. And I've turned people down. I think the post you was reading when I said I've turned down $70K in the past month from people who are not committed, because I tell people I'm not committed to your business. I'm committed to your success. I don't want your money if you're not going to get the result. Like, I want to be with you when you're on stage because you're finally on stage. I want to be when you finally open that business. Like, I want to be there. Like, I want to be there when you finally got your dream car because you worked hard and I need a ride in it, right? Like, I want to be there for those moments. Like, those are the moments that I look to when I work with somebody. I don't look at, oh, this person's paying me. I look at, okay, what are the memories that we could create together? And that how can we get to the opposite end of your manifestations?
Well, I want to jump on that word there because I was just about to ask you. You mentioned you were so committed to get to this event, and then it just so happened that your sentence got reduced so that you were able to go. So do you believe in the power of magic, manifesting, the law of attraction, and how does that relate to a level of commitment?
Yeah, that's all there is. That's the game we're really playing. We live in a seen world that's governed by unseen laws and principles.
Tell me more.
So everything is manifestation. Everything is energy. Nikola Tesla said everything is energy. If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. And Albert Einstein said everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the energy of the frequency you wish to create, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not theory. This is physics. So the greatest people in the world, they're telling you that everything is just energy, vibration, and frequency. So most people know about the law of attraction, right? So then when people say the law of attraction, thoughts become things. If you can hold it in your hand, if you can hold it in the mind, you can hold it in your hand, right? Wherever the mind goes, the body follows. That's the law of attraction, right? But where does the attraction come from? Well, there's a law underneath that called the law of vibration. And the law of vibration decrees that everything is energy, and energy is always vibrating. It's just vibrating at different rates of frequencies, right? So whatever rate of frequency you're vibrating at, that's where you attract. So you don't attract what you think. You attract what you feel. The universe responds to the nature of your feelings, not the nature of your thinking. So the secret to attracting is feeling it, right? But then there's another thing that's underneath the law of attraction that dictates it all. This is the juice. This is the magic. This is where the world works. This is where creation lies in human creation. And that's your being. That's your being. Being is the seed that produces the fruits of your life. Whoever it is that you're being that's what you vibrate. Whatever you vibrate, that's what you attract. Whatever you attract, that creates this human experience that you live in. This creates your reality. So when I work with my clients, I work at the level of their being. Who is it that you're being? Right? Being is the seed that produced the fruits of your life. If you have an apple seed, you get an apple fruit. If you plant a blueberry, you get blueberry results. We look at it in nature, but then we don't look at it ourselves. So we're being, I'm unworthy, wanting to get the result of a thriving business. We're being angry, but we're wanting to get the results of amazing relationships.
Right.
We're being pessimistic, but we're wanting to get the results of somebody who's going out their businesses and launching it and believing in themselves. A commitment is at the level of your being. A goal is at the level of your consciousness.
I like that distinction.
You will consciously say that I'm motivated. You will consciously say I'm believing in it. But then if I had to talk with you, I can easily tell through your linguistics the level that you're at with your belief system, the level that you're at with your confidence, the level that you're at with your self-love, your self-worthiness. So your being will be telling me something way differently. So you could consciously create a goal, but then your being could feel unworthy. Now, once you're being that I am powerful, then you do I am powerful shit. And then you have I am powerful results. Do have. When you're being confident, you're going to do the things that a confident person would do, and you'll have the results of somebody confident.
Totally. I see this all the time with my, fitness weight loss clients. I'll have a client who's like, oh, I just want to lose 15 pounds. I just want to lose 15 pounds. And they're stuck in this identity of someone who wants to lose 15 pounds and can't lose 15 pounds. Right. And they're just stuck there. And they're always going to, instead of being in the identity of I am a powerful badass and I love my body as it is. And I am so fucking excited for how amazingly strong I'm going to get, et cetera, like that. And you can tell in 2 seconds whether someone is going to achieve, and it's at the level of their being. I think you're absolutely right on this.
It's the level of their being, and even wanting something, right? People that want something understand when you want something, you're putting something between you and it. So you're actually putting it away from you, and you're being that you don't have it.
Yep.
So if I want to be rich, if I want to be confident, then you're being I'm unconfident. So the place of which you're coming from is not about where you're thinking. It's not about thinking of. It's about thinking from. Instead of thinking of confidence, think from confidence. So imagine if you had a confident glasses on, you will see the world as I am confident.
Yeah.
Now, if you have, I want to be confident, then that means you have a lens on as I'm unconfident. Yeah. So then you're going to be doing things from unconfidence. Yeah. So like you just said, it's a difference from saying I want to lose weight to saying that I am a badass, I am healthy, I'm getting in my peak performance, I'm getting in my dream body. That's a way different energy. Totally. Associated with it. Whatever energy you put out, you have to get back. Totally.
One thing you said on your site here that I thought was interesting is everyone has a personal blueprint for failure and one for success. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, everybody has a blueprint. It's been instilled from when you were a kid. The thoughts that you thought, the environment, right? Society, parents, environment, those are the different things that condition you to form who is it that you think you are and what is it that you think you know about yourself. The best way I could tell people about a blueprint is imagine that you're in the wintertime and you put on this coat. Mm-hmm. And this coat keeps you warm. It keeps you snuggled. Like it's perfect. But then it's 80 degrees outside. It's 90 degrees outside. And you still have on this same coat. And now you're feeling uncomfortable. And now you're talking about God is doing this to me. And why is the devil doing this to me? And why are people and the president is so terrible? It's take off the coat. You'll feel way freer. You wouldn't be so stressed. You wouldn't be so angry. Well, it's the same thing with our blueprint is that we've been wearing a blueprint. We've been wearing this coat on us from who we have to be as kids. Mm. And we never stop to inspect it that, I don't have to just please anymore. Everybody in this world is not my mother. It's not my father. I have to please them to get love. I don't have to do that anymore. Mm. Now I can focus on myself. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I'm not listening I know that a lot of people told me I couldn't do something, but now I'm 30 years old. That doesn't have to still be playing in my mind. So let me take that off. It kept me warm. It kept me safe back then. But now it's keeping me constricted. It's keeping me playing small. Mm-hmm. So what I help people do is help them really discover what are those factors that are on you that is keeping you small, your value system, your rules, your way of being. Who is it that you've been being? And how do we work at that level to really develop a blueprint that's for you? that's specifically for you. It's not just, oh, read a book, do affirmations, do this.
Yeah.
No, here is your highway to love. Here's your highway to confidence. Here's your highway to a high level of belief. And when people have that blueprint, that's when their life significantly change.
Can you give an example of what a blueprint could look like? You said it's not about affirmations. What is it exactly?
So for an example, right, my last client, and he's valuing pleasure, right? He's valuing pleasure. So everything that and he's a multimillionaire. So everything that he was doing was to get pleasure, right? So let me make money in order to go to a strip club. Let me do this in order to have alcohol, to have drugs, have women. Like that was his main focus. Unconsciously, understand all of this is unconscious. You're unconsciously doing everything to move in this direction. Think about going from pleasure to going to love. Think about having a blueprint that I feel unworthy every time I just go to start a business and it doesn't work out. Or I feel unworthy every time I hear a no, right? To now, your blueprint is, I feel unworthy only if I believe the lie that God is not with me. And that's not true because I know God is always with me. So it's impossible for you to feel unworthy. Right? So we go and we look at your own personal blueprint and see, what is it? What's been your operating system? A lot of people operate off of getting accepted. Yeah. Right. They want to run away from rejection. They don't want to feel rejection. They don't want to feel like they're not going to be loved. So they do things to get loved by people only just to go home and not be loved by yourself. So if you had a blueprint that was for your own self-love, here's my blueprint for my self-love. Every time I wake up and I open my eyes and I know that God kept me alive, I feel love. Every time I go out in nature and I feel the vibration of the plants, I feel love. Every time the sun hits my face and I just feel the radiance, it feels love. Anytime I see the smile of my kids, I feel love, right? Then your whole blueprint changes. It's not about, oh, anytime these persons tell me yes, or anytime I do something for other people, or anytime people tell me a good job, because that's outwardly. Now you're only feeling love when you're outwardly getting confirmed. How can we change your blueprint from outwardly to inwardly? Because then you will always feel love.
Yeah, I love it. Kusudi, I know that people are going to listen to this and they're going to want so much more from you and they're going to want to be in your world. Can you tell us the best way for people to stay connected with you?
For sure. So follow me on Instagram. It's I am Kusudi. So IAM KUSUDI. And then it's Kusudi Muithi on Facebook. KUSUDI MUITHI. That's where you can follow me at. YouTube is Kusudi Muithi as well. So check me out on there. You can click the link if you want to get in touch about any coaching. If you want to look about Cora, my Creative Reality Academy, it's a 12-week program that really walks people through step one of having no idea about personal development, not knowing what their purpose is, to literally understanding the laws of the universe afterwards. It'll change your whole life. You'll know about yourself, develop your confidence, your belief. And for those that are really wanting to go further, faster, and excel their life by getting somebody to look personally in their life, I'm that person. You can click the link and then look to apply for coaching. And a few are accepted. And for those that are, we get significant change.
For those that are committed.
Those that are committed, don't do it either if you're not committed. But if you're somebody who's desiring more and you're committed and you're willing to do what it takes, we could create with that energy. I
love it. So is there any final thought that you want to share with anyone?
Yeah, I would just tell each and every person to understand that, understand this as a possibility, not as truth. Because if you listen for it as truth, you're going to try to pick it apart and see if you agree with it or disagree. But if you listen as possibility, then you could be with what I'm about to say. Understand that you are a creator of your reality. Everything that you're outwardly experiencing in life right now, your financial situation, the obstacles, the situations, the hardship, all of it is a reflection of who you are inwardly. Who you are inwardly is always seeking outwardly expression. And when you change your innermost being, you would change the world that you outer experience. And it's not who you are, it's who you've been being. So you're not your trauma, you're not the procrastination, you're not your lack of self-love. That's not who you are. You're way greater than that. That's just the person you've been being. And you can wake up any day and choose to be somebody new. So my last word is be somebody great, be loved, and most importantly, be you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Una.
Okay. Isn't Kusudi amazing? I'll tell you the parts of this interview that have stuck with me since we chatted. First of all, everyone has a different tolerance for pain. It reminds me of the story of one of my clients, Josh. He had yo-yo dieted for about 20 years. And then one day he got on the scale and it said 300 pounds. And it was just a level of pain that he could no longer tolerate. And that's what made him finally commit to a whole new lifestyle. You know, like after years of yo-yo dieting, he put up with a lot of pain around his weight. It was that 300-pound moment that was the threshold that made him change everything. I also loved Kusudi's distinction between having a goal and committing. I am totally stealing that. You don't get your goals, you get your commitments. And you know what? I almost wanted to call this a woo-woo episode because I thought that Kusudi's explanation of the law of attraction was one of the best I have ever heard, and how you get the results that reflect the level of your being. Be powerful, get powerful results. Also, his analogy about your blueprint being like a coat that you've worn forever and it might not be appropriate when the temperature changes. I mean, these are the parts that I love, but I want to hear what impacted you. So please send me a DM on Instagram or send an email to info@fitfeelsgood.com and let me know. Listen, and let me tell you something weird. Podcasting, unlike email or social media, like there's very little feedback when you put something out there. So really do reach out and let me know if something hits you. And as you know, if you rate the show and you leave a written review, I will not only love you, but you will be eligible to win a prize. So do that now and we'll chat next week. Thanks. Hey dude, thanks for listening. If you like this episode, make sure you're subscribed so you can get the next one. And by the way, if you rate and review this podcast, it really helps me get found by other people who need some goals, grit, and some woo-woo shit. And be sure to connect and DM me at Una Duncan on Instagram and let me know what you thought of the episode. Chat soon.